is home to several Amerindian civilizations, including Olmec, Toltec, Zapotec, and Aztecs, but in the early 16th century, the country was colonized by Spain. The Spanish leadership continued until the early 19th century when they finally gained independence. The areas in Mexico with largely indigenous populations tend to be more impoverished. However, a global economic downturn in 2008 also affected people in Mexico as employment rates and wages took a turn for the worst. Another reason poverty exists in Mexico is because they deal with other impoverished Central Americans who cross the border into the country. There are also many refugees and internally displaced or stateless people living in Mexico, contributing to the poverty. So what do they wear? The stereotype says that Mexican people live in sombreros and multicolored ponchos. However, it happens to be that a lot of the country follows international fashion trends. As you get farther from the cities into rural areas, clothing may be more traditional and conservative, with longer skirts, tunics, capes, and shawls. But traditional Mexican clothing includes large blanketed capes, boots, sombreros, and charro suit, which are also commonly used as costumes. So what religions are there in Mexico? In Mexico, there isn't an official religion. However, when the Spanish colonized the country, they brought the Roman Catholic faith. According to a 2000 census, 89% of the country identifies as Roman Catholic, which is the world's second largest Catholic population. So what languages are spoken in Mexico? Around 93% of Mexicans speak Spanish. However, over 60 indigenous languages exist in the country. Nahuatl is the language of the Aztecs and is the most widespread indigenous language, with around 1 million people able to speak it. English is also fairly widely spoken, and Italian, German, and French can also be found in some areas. So what are some of Mexico's imports and exports? For Mexico, trade is highest with the US and Canada. Some of its exports include crude petroleum oils and vehicles and accessories, along with natural resources such as silver, copper, gold, lead, natural gas, and timber. Major imports include refined oils, motor vehicle accessories, and telephones. So what's tourism like in Mexico? Tourism is a huge industry. It's one of the most visited countries in the world because of its warm weather, beautiful beaches, ruins, and cultural festivals. Mexico City, in particular, is Mexico's largest city, and it's very popular with tourists. As the Mexican middle class grows, domestic tourism is increasing along with the international travel. The Mexican government is a federal republic with 31 states. They have a civil law system with influence from the US constitutional law theory, and Mexico is led by a president, who is also head of state. Currently, the president is Enrique Peña Nieto, and he's been elected for a 6-year term. There are also 96 seats elected by popular vote. Multiple political parties exist in Mexico, including the Citizens Movement, the Institutional Revolutionary Party, and the Mexican Green Ecological Party. Their nation's symbol is a golden eagle, too. Military service is also very important in Mexico. It's obligated that at the age of 18, every citizen performs 1 year of service, though at the age of 16, one can enroll with consent. Any cadet enrolled in military school is also considered a member of the armed forces. So what's Mexico's economy like? Mexico has a free market and a free trade agreement with many companies. In 2012, it joined the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and the country also has a rather large informal sector. So what's school like in Mexico? Preschool to grade 9 is required, and school uniforms are usually required too. The Mexican school system consists of preschool, elementary school, high school, and universities. Preschool is mandatory, though high school isn't, and the public and private schools are the only forms of education available. In more rural and impoverished communities, school conditions may be bad, and books and fully qualified teachers can be hard to come by. So what jobs are in Mexico? Popular job industries include chemical work, clothing, food and beverage, metalwork, mining, textiles, and tourism. Pay can be low there as well, with salaries such as $8,400 per year as a teacher and $13,600 a year for an electrical engineer. Labor work, like strawberry and rock picking, are also very common jobs. Now, as far as food goes, beans, meat, potatoes, peppers, chili peppers, and onions are commonly used in dishes. The variety of food that families eat often aligns with the household income, but enchiladas, tacos, mole, and tamales are some classic dishes. Music is popular too, incorporating drums, flutes, maracas, guitars, and voices to create music. Instruments such as the violin and the trumpet were brought to Mexico by Europeans and were incorporated into traditional music.